It's time for the RMAC Radio Show, featuring all the latest information from around the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. The RMAC is a proud member of NCAA Division II. Now, here's your host, Eric Danner.
Welcome to the RMAC Radio Show, week number 4 of the 2011-12 season. My name is Eric Danner, and what a show we have for you today. We're going to have Western New Mexico head coach Adam Clark, the Mustangs, with an all-time trip in the RMAC this past weekend in RMAC football. Also going to have Jen Gomez, the CSU Pueblo volleyball coach. And then we're going to talk with Art Abreu, the New Mexico Highlands play-by-play voice, as the Cowboys are off to a very surprising start in RMAC football. But let's get you caught up on what happened this past week in RMAC football. Had a chance to go out to Alamosa, Adams State College, and see the new Rex Field. What a facility that is. Really upping the ante with some of the other ones we have around the league right now. Nebraska Kearney and CSU Pueblo come to mind, but fantastic facilities. They got a restaurant inside the stadium with a fantastic view of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, and with that field turf, everything else. Adams State really doing a nice job there. Unfortunately, the big grand opening didn't turn out the way they wanted it. CSU Pueblo winning 20-11. Jesse Lewis rushes for 208 yards. Mark Sterling, 2 interceptions. Could add a couple more looking at some of the tape there. Kyle Major, 2 field goals. He is our special teams player of the week. Terjan Saffold of Adams State rushes for 141 yards and a touchdown in the loss. New Mexico Highlands, huge upset at Colorado Mines. The Cowboys win 40-34 as the Highlands Cowboys, remember, they were picked to finish dead last in the RMAC at the beginning of the season. And Colorado Mines was the defending champion, number 17 in the country. Highlands goes to Mines and wins. Jermaine Holmes, 188 yards rushing. It's Highlands' first win over a ranked opponent in 13 years. Jordan Campbell, 10 tackles, an interception, and a sack. He is our RMAC/Baden Defensive Player of the Week. He also punted for Highlands 8 times for 40.2 yards. Campbell, a transfer from Louisville, also played at the University of Southern California. He's a linebacker there. Dan Palmer for Mines, 84 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns in the loss. Nebraska Kearney continues to roll. They are now 3-0 overall, 1-0 in the league, 52-10 at Colorado Mesa University. Jake Spitzelberger continues putting up these video game numbers. I don't even have to tweet that. 114 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 378 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He is our RMAC/Rawlings Offensive Player of the Week. Jake Edmiston for Colorado Mesa, 15 tackles in the loss. Chadron State gets their first win of the year, 15-7 over Western State up in Gunnison. Michael Madkins rushes for 235 yards on 36 carries and a touchdown. That was his first start, as the Eagles have had some injury issues at running back as well as quarterback. That was his first start for the sophomore. That's a big game for him. Jaden Terry of Western State, 20 tackles. It's the 4th best performance by a Mountaineer in school history, but it comes in a loss 15-7 against Chadron State. And then the other game we're talking about, Western New Mexico goes to Fort Lewis and wins 26-17. Now, perhaps the story of the game before the kickoff even happened. Friday night, Western New Mexico traveling to Durango. Their bus catches on fire. We're going to hear more about that in a minute. But the team caught on fire, as it turned out, as they win 26-17. David Ingram, the quarterback, passes for 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. Sal Garcia, 4 receptions for 101 yards and a touchdown. Phil Odell of Fort Lewis had 12 tackles and a sack in the loss for the Skyhawks. And joining us now, the victorious head coach from Western New Mexico. His name is Adam Clark. Coach Clark, I hope you're having a good day.
Well, they're all good days, I guess, you know.
Coach, let's back up to Friday night. As is the case in RMAC, a lot of travel. You're driving up from Silver City to Durango. You got a caravan of a charter bus, as I understand it, and some people movers. And where were you at when it suddenly turned pretty serious?
Well, actually, it was a pretty weird situation for me in that we'd left something back at our school when we were on our way up there. So we'd stopped to eat in Albuquerque, and myself and some of our other coaches on one of our 15-passenger vans stopped at a sporting goods store to grab something we needed. And so I was actually about 20 minutes behind the bus. Our other two 15-passenger vans, where we had some players and coaches on those, were with the bus, and I got a call somewhere around 4:30 or so, 4:15, from one of our assistant coaches telling me that we had a major situation and that the bus was on fire. And I thought he was joking at first. I told him that's not funny to joke about something like that, and he told me he was dead serious, and he'd send pictures and video, and yeah, so at that point, yeah, things got very, very serious.
Talking with Adam Clark, the head football coach at Western New Mexico University. Now, the good news here, Coach, everyone was able to get out safely. Nobody was injured, but in that bus was all of your gear, the football helmets, the cleats, the pads, the uniforms, as I understand it, some computers, some things like that, personal items. And that was a total loss. If anybody's seen the pictures, you can actually see them on Western New Mexico's website. Truly amazing. First off, that no one was injured. Luckily, we're thankful for that. But at the same time, Coach, here you are getting ready for a football game, and all your gear goes up in flames.
Yeah. I mean, my first question obviously was, so is everyone okay? Did everyone get off the bus? And it was obviously stressful for me not being there when I first hear about this. I'm trying not to not speed too much, trying to get to the site. But my first question is, everyone okay? And he said, yeah, not a scratch, no problems from a physical standpoint. So that was the number one thing. And but then my next question was, so did we get our stuff off the bus? Did we get everything off? And they just said there was no time. They said it was going up right away. And basically, as they were driving, it was starting to go up. So yeah, we got there, and the bus was completely engulfed by the time I got there, again, about 15 minutes after it happened, and our team's on the side of the road. And once I knew that everyone was okay, that we were physically okay, I just started trying to work in my head, trying to figure out if there was a way for us to still play the football game. And I contacted Coach Rivas up at Fort Lewis and our athletic director, and just started trying to figure out if there was a way for us to still play the game, because I knew it would be really difficult to reschedule. And again, we get so few chances to play. I didn't want to lose a game for our seniors, for Fort Lewis's players as well, and it would be a bad deal to have to lose one of those coveted games, because you only get so many of them.
Talking with Adam Clark, the head coach at Western New Mexico. So as I understand it, so you're outside of Farmington, New Mexico. You're still probably a couple hours outside of Durango when this incident happened. You're able to get up to Durango. But then the issue becomes, okay, now how do you play a game? As I understand, you had some gear back in Silver City that maybe some of the guys who didn't make the trip used. So you had some helmets, pads, those kind of things. And then whatever Fort Lewis had left over. And then I know our commissioner, J.R. Smith, went to the Sports Authority up in Denver, was able to get some cleats, because that's the thing, I guess, you can't wear somebody else's shoes, really. That's pretty hard to do. So was able to get some cleats down there. So it's kind of a community effort in making this happen, Coach. So, I mean, the silver lining in all this, obviously you're out all this gear, but it was really great to see so many people come together to help you guys out.
Yeah, it really was. People all over the place were great. And it started at Bloomfield High School, which is about 30 minutes away from where the bus actually went up. They let us stay there. We were there for about 5 or 6 hours waiting for another bus to be able to come pick us up, and they took care of us really well there. The principal, Mr. Deal, there took great care of us. They got us, our guys some food and drink and stuff, and we just kind of hung together there. And our athletic director, Mark Coleman, and our president, Dr. Shepard, they both were very helpful. And again, Cesar Rivas and the AD there at Fort Lewis. But again, everyone there was great in getting things set up for us and trying to help us out to make it happen. And of course, Commissioner Smith, for him to get those cleats for us. Yeah, I mean, there was just people all over the place. Even the local high school there in Durango High School, let us use some of their gear. We had guys out on the field in red helmets and stuff. So it was definitely a group effort, and a lot of people had to help us and to make it actually happen.
Talking with Adam Clark, the head football coach at Western New Mexico, and I guess to make the story even more amazing, Coach, when you're kind of wondering, if you're even going to play this game, and within 24 hours you're out there playing in these red helmets and kind of rented gear, if you will, and then you go out and win. 26-17. Is this, I guess, one of those bonding moments for a team that really brought everybody closer together to help you win that game?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that was a big thing. Is we talked a lot about, overcoming adversity and trying to, tell our guys right away, because some of them were shocked immediately and weren't really feeling like playing when, a few hours after it happened. I kind of just tried to paint the picture that, life is difficult at times, and they will face more difficult situations than this. And our job right now as teammates and as a family is that they have to be there for each other and go compete and go put it out on the line. So it was definitely a situation where our guys had to come together and had to fight through adversity, and they did a great job of that. And just incredibly proud of them, again, of our staff, of our university, of everyone that came together, and again, all of our staff for helping make things happen and keeping them focused, and our guys providing good leadership for each other, and just trying to make through it. And I really didn't want them to have to ride back, that long bus ride back after everything else had already happened with a loss on top of that. So I was just really, really happy for them when we got that win, for them to be able to have something, a bright light for the ride home.
Yeah, that's a truly amazing story, Coach, and we're thankful you're able to share that with us. I guess the question now is, you were able to make do in this one game. Fact of the matter is, you got the rest of the season that you have to be prepared for in terms of. I know some of the equipment that was brought up might have been some other guys' equipment. How are you going to handle getting everybody all suited up for the remainder of the season?
Well, again, something I think you always learn in this game of football. You're supposed to learn is kind of the concept of adapt and overcome, and you find a way to get things out of practice and just to prepare. And so we're going to do that while we're waiting to get our new gear. As I talk to you, I promise I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, but I'm still typing in sizes right now to a spreadsheet. We've already ordered a bunch of helmets, and we're hoping to get those next day at aired and have those by at least Wednesday. And shoulder pads, I'm working on those right now. And even though we got the cleats donated, not all of them fit exactly right, and they weren't the same type the guys had. So I'm definitely playing equipment manager right now in the middle of the season. So it's a little tough because I'd like to be paying attention to Colorado Mines as much as I possibly can, because they're a dang good team, and I'll run our defense, so I got to worry about Clay and that offense over there and what Coach Stitt does. So that's I got plenty to worry about there. I'd rather not be doing anything with equipment, but we're getting it taken care of, and we're going to figure out a way to make it work, and we'll make sure we have enough helmets and shoulder pads and cleats, and that we're ready to play on Saturday.
Yeah, Western New Mexico hosts Colorado Mines at noon this Saturday in Silver City. So anybody listening in the southwest New Mexico area, you want to show your support for the Mustangs, especially in light of what's happened. Definitely get out to that game as they play Colorado Mines. I guess the good thing, Coach Clark, is the fact that you know this Colorado Mines team very well, as you were an assistant coach prior to coming to Western New Mexico. At the same time, you also know what a headache stopping that Bobstead offense is going to be.
Oh yeah, and it is honestly helpful that I do have a good idea of what they do, and I know a lot of the players on the team still very, very well, and the personnel they have. So it is a little bit helpful that I'm not having to prepare for a new offensive coordinator or a new scheme or a team I'm not that familiar with, or where there's been changes. So that is helpful, but again, at the same time, yeah, it definitely causes me worry because I know how good they are. I know. Again, Coach Stitt just does an amazing job with his players up there, and they are very, very good on offense, and Clay is as good as they get, and again, they got some good receivers and good O-line, and they're a good football team, and we got to figure out a way to try and slow them down on offense.
Well, Coach Clark, we want to thank you for taking some time out, obviously in a very busy week for you. We're all very thankful that no one was hurt, and it sounds like you guys were actually able to use this as a teaching moment for everyone. So good luck the rest of the season. Thank you very much. And again, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that played a part in this role and played a role in making this thing happen and getting us through it. And again, I just say how proud I am of our young men for getting through it and coming out with a win. And just appreciate it and just happy that everyone made it out healthy. Awesome. Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Eric. Take care.
All right, that is Adam Clark. Quite a tale to tell from Western New Mexico University. If you have a chance to look at that on their website, fully engulfed. That bus burned to the frame. Nothing left on it, all the gear. So many people coming together. As Coach mentioned, the high school, Fort Lewis College, Durango High School. Our commissioner, J.R. Smith, drove down from Denver with a whole set of cleats for the team, and they were able to use those and come out and win a game. So truly amazing. And for more on what's going to be happening this upcoming weekend, let's head over to Chris Polton at the RMAC Sports Desk.
Thanks, Eric. Week 2 of RMAC play will have the road teams riding high hopes as all 5 games were won last week by the visitors. Mines heads south to Western New Mexico and looks to get past last week's upset loss to Highlands. As for the Mustangs, they will look to stay perfect in the RMAC. Game time set for noon in Silver City, New Mexico. Adams State travels to Chadron, Nebraska this weekend. The Grizzlies will be eyeing their first conference win as the Eagles will look to keep pace with the top in the conference standings. It will be a 1 p.m. start at Don Beebe Stadium. Colorado Mesa looks to lasso the Cowboys on Saturday as they head south to Las Vegas, New Mexico. The Mavericks look to bounce back after only putting up 10 points against Kearney. As for New Mexico Highlands, they look to ride their high after last week's big upset win at Mines. Game time is at noon at Perkins Stadium. Western State goes on the road to Kearney, Nebraska, where the 7th-ranked Lopers will be awaiting with their ridiculously high-powered offense. The Mountaineers are in search of their first win of the season. Game time is set for 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time at Cope Stadium. The last game of the weekend will have Fort Lewis coming into the Thunder Bowl for CSU Pueblo's homecoming. The 14th-ranked Thunderbolts will look to stay perfect on the season. Game time is at 6 p.m. at the Thunder Bowl in Pueblo, Colorado. This has been your RMAC football update. I'm Chris Polton. Now back to Eric for more of the RMAC Radio Show.
Thank you, Chris. When we come back, we're going to talk with CSU Pueblo volleyball coach Jen Gomez. You're listening to the RMAC Radio Show.